Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Terry's Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And everybody, I've been getting a lot of requests, and this has been more, you know, I'm getting like 100 emails every day, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get to everybody accordingly. You see what I'm saying? And, you know, people who's trying to get enlightened, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. Because, you know what I'm saying, I be vibrating so high sometimes, it's hard for me to lower my vibrations for some like regular mundane shit, you know what I'm saying? So I be trying to get to as much people possible who's vibrating as high as me, you know what I'm saying? We be doing certain things in the universe, because I be taking so much time trying to teach and broaden my perspective and things of that nature, and then go and then live and experience a real life. A lot of times time can get consuming. So when it comes down to me actually getting towards everybody's email, I kind of look at my emails and see who's vibrating high and who I have to lower my vibrations for, and then come back down to earth for some shit that I'm vibrating too high for at the time. So you know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of things going on, you know what I'm saying? And just me dealing with people in my everyday life, you know what I'm saying? So we having to do things accordingly. So if you have an email that you may have emailed me probably like 2 days ago and you feel like I'm not getting to it, no, I'm getting to it. It's just gotta let me trickle down. Now what happens here is I've been getting a lot of questions from numerous of people, but it's been an ongoing question I've been seeing is what happens after you die. So what happens after you die, you know what I'm saying, a lot of times now, people have to understand death is not a place you go. There's no such thing as being consciously aware of being unconscious. There's no such thing as death being a location. Death is not a location. It's either death or life. So since you're living now, you know you got life. So if you're living now, this means you always had life. Now, we know energy only can be transformed. So energy is always trying to connect back. So you know what I'm saying? You know how you got the frequency, vibration, and the energy. Frequency is like the spirit, the light, the sound. So it shoots off, right? Then it goes into a vibration, a realm of reality, because it's experience. So either like that or like that. Then once it's experiencing something matter with enough energy put behind it based upon the vibration, how much is vibrating as far as the motion, the soul, the emotion, the movement of it, right? Then it becomes to matter and becomes solid, or it could become energy. But see, when energy shoots off from vibration, energy doesn't like to be separate. So energy play an interesting role with these three segments, because it's frequency, vibration. Then once energy gets shot off, energy likes to connect again. So we're talking about the first time this happened. If we're talking about the first frequency, first vibration, first energy, that first energy that broke off, it got detached, but it needed to reconnect. So because energy likes to connect. We know that by energy being played through all realms of reality. So when energy shot off, it wanted to connect. If this was the first sequence, there's nothing for the energy to connect to and spread off and keep continuing right to. So what happened was, once the energy separated, it needed to reconnect again. So it created the circle. This would created the roundness. This would created the hole. This is why everything is a sphere and a round. And then once the energy came back around again, the circle was less, because or greater, but under, so it's more dense, because it couldn't do the same thing that it did the first time, so it just reduplicated itself. So it was like boom. So the circle is like going down. And if you like the Gali energy itself, when you look down and cut through every realm of reality and situation, how it can look, it's just going to look like, when you cut down the middle, it's going to look like it cut out into a bunch of 3s, 6s, and 9s. You know what I'm saying? From the loop circle is coming of something coming down into density and then going back counterclockwise. This is why we got the such thing as clockwise and counterclockwise, because when it came down clockwise, if you're down into density looking up, everything, if that's clockwise to you, is counterclockwise. You see what I'm saying? So that's like the life cycle. That's why we got circleness. It went from frequency to vibration to energy, and energy likes to connect, so it had to come back and reduplicate to become, till you see all the physical densities that you see today. Now when you want to look into your soul and when you want to look into your spirit and how you know what happens after you die. Now we know, since your life is now, we know that the present and the future don't exist, right? The present and the future don't exist. I mean, not the present and the future, but the future and the past. The future and the past doesn't exist. The only thing exists now is here and now. Here and now in the present, right? So, wherever you're vibrating at now, you know what I'm saying? You can't be thinking about previously or future. Think about now. How do you feel now? How do you usually vibrate with the life you got now, in this present life? What's your frequency and what's your vibrating, right? So, say you was to die right now, right? This body gets transformed. Now, your spirit and soul is like energy, right? So, to experience, you need a body, but when you don't have a body, it gets knocked back into the subconscious realm. So all this is like natural selection. So depending on the vibration you was vibrating in when you was experiencing a vessel or a body, or just your spirit and soul vibration frequency hertz in general, wherever you was vibrating at, subconsciously your spirit is traveling in that vibration frequency, and it's going to find another body to inhabit that vibration frequency. So it depends on what you're doing now, not what you think you did in the past, what you did in the future. What you're doing now is what you always did. So depending on how much you may have learned in the present, you may have elevated. If you're a human, you ascended to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? And depending on how many times you've been here is how much wisdom and knowledge you have. But if you're a person who didn't like to learn, you probably are a person who appears stupid and retarded now and keep stumbling and fumbling over the same mistakes. But if you're a person who got some kind of wisdom and understanding and then you can look at experiences as a whole, then 9 times out of 10 you experienced that same experience before, just in another form. You see what I'm saying? So just think about all the things you're into now, all your thoughts, all your feelings and vibrations, and look at it where it's mostly at. That's how you're vibrating. Is you a loving person, caring person, a stressful person, a hatred person, a negative person, whatever. Whatever you're vibrating at now, if you was to die, and you're going to die, you're going to transform. That's what death is. Death is this transformation. When you transform, your spirit and soul finds another womb that match that frequency vibration, like natural selection. You see what I'm saying? Then, shit, if you came into a bitch, which is a female doll, it don't matter if you fell or female. If you came back into a bitch, you must have been a bitchy ass person when you had a human experience, or whatever experience you was having in any kind of animal or bug. You see what I'm saying? So if you're vibrating at that frequency, then when your body transform, your physical energy transform, your spirit and soul finds another womb that matches that frequency vibration. Because God is always going to give you what you want. So God is not looking at what you don't like and what you like as stuff that you want and don't want. God is looking at it like you must want whatever energy you keep giving me. And if you're confused on this earth realm about a bunch of different stuff that make you feel certain ways, and then that way you feeling is the energy you keep giving to God, then you know what I'm saying, it's really your fault. But a lot of times you could blame it on, you know what I'm saying, people, friends and family, and the way you was raised a lot of times too. But once you're grown, it's up to you to get enlightened, to gain some knowledge and get spiritually inclined, so you can save yourself and save your salvation and create your own heaven, which will be the true heaven. You see what I'm saying? Now, that's what happens after you die. Your spirit and your soul leaves this body, right? Now your soul is jumping in the realms of illusions. Your spirit is seeing the overall mechanism of where you need to go. So your spirit is like your frequency. It's where it's shooting. Now where you're vibrating is your soul. What kind of experiences was you inhabiting with your ideas and the idea of you, which is your frequency, and then it's going to travel it's going to travel the solar system and travel the etheric realm and travel space and find a solar system, aka find another realm of reality to jump into to match that frequency vibration. So right now I'm vibrating as Archangel Uriel, my frequency. So at some point in time, no matter what physical form I was in, I was already and always vibrating on this frequency. Now, as much as if I choose not to learn some shit here, that's my fault. But I'm choosing to learn everything, and I'm choosing to put out what I already know. So right here, if I'm living an angel spirit experience now, then when I transform, my spirit and my soul frequency is gonna go into another womb, or in this case, this is the last physical form on some real shit. After this is some other shit. It's going to go into another womb that matches the frequency vibration of where I was vibrating at. And if I'm vibrating super high, then I'm going to high places. You see what I'm saying? I may not be physical my next time. You see what I'm saying? So you have to understand, that's where you go after you die. You go where you want to go. And where you want to go, you determine that now. Because the only thing exists right now is the present. So don't let your past overconsume you, and you create your future, because you have the power in the present. Flight boss, bitch, goddamn, for sure. Air.